Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. If the excellent player Malcolm Brogdon is available, it will be a great opportunity for the Warriors to strengthen their roster and seek to win the championship. The Golden State Warriors are interested in adding former sixth man and Rookie of the Year Malcolm Brogdon, NBA insider Jake Fisher reports. The Warriors are one of the 8 teams that have expressed interest in the 32-year-old Washington Wizards guard. League sources say that the Wizards are open to sign-and-trade discussions to facilitate Brogdon's exit, and a slew of teams have registered varying levels of interest in the 32-year-old. That list includes the Clippers, Suns and Lakers, as well as the Warriors, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Kings, and Bucks, Fisher wrote. Brogdon is coming off his second lowest scoring season in his career. A left ankle sprain sidelined him for the final 28 games after only playing a career-low 24 games. The 6'5" guard averaged 12.7 points while shooting a career-worst 28.6% from the three-point line, 4.1 assists and 3.8 rebounds in 23.5 minutes per game for the tanking Wizards. Injuries have derailed his once promising career. He has not played over 70 games since his rookie season. Since the Boston Celtics shipped him to Portland in 2023, Brogdon has only played in 63 games across the last 2 seasons. When healthy, Brogdon provides a steady hand and tough perimeter defense off the bench with his 6 feet 10.5 inches wingspan. Malcolm Brogdon and potential package for Jonathan Kuminga? Brogdon is an unrestricted free agent after earning $22.5 million last season. The Warriors have not made a move in free agency pending the resolution of Jonathan Kuminga's restricted free agency. Interestingly, the Wizards have expressed interest in Kuminga via sign-and-trade, Anthony Slater of The Athletic reported on July 3. The idea of Jonathan Kuminga as a possible fit in Washington's rebuild has gained real momentum, according to league sources, Slater wrote. However, the Warriors have a hefty asking price for Kuminga. They are looking for a promising young player, plus a first-round pick in a sign-and-trade scenario for the 22-year-old athletic forward, according to Slater. Brogdon does not fall into the promising young player category. So, he might be a salary filler if the Warriors and the Wizards strike a deal involving Kuminga. Bradley Beal wants to join Warriors. The Warriors can add a better player than Brogdon without going through the complicated sign-and-trade path. That option opened up for them as they landed on Bradley Beal's short list of preferred landing spots after the expected buyout with the Phoenix Suns. Fred Katz of The Athletic reported on July 7 that the Warriors are one of the 4 teams on Bradley's list. According to a league source, the list of teams Beal has thought about includes the LA Clippers, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks, Katz wrote. The Warriors could have the most money among Beal's preferred teams. But they have to sign-and-trade Kuminga without taking back any money so they can gain access to the $14.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Warriors constantly linked to 3x All-Star as ideal Draymond Green insurance. Can Golden State get away with having another non-scorer? 2025. Having not made a single move over the last week, with the Jonathan Kuminga situation still hovering in uncertain fashion, and with only 9 players currently contracted for next season, the Golden State Warriors are arguably the most interesting team remaining in free agency. It means the Warriors are going to be linked to a host of names for their final roster spots, even if they do ultimately land Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and bring back Kuminga. While there's been no confirmed reports of mutual interest, Golden State continue to be floated as an ideal landing spot for 3x All-Star Ben Simmons, who remains an unrestricted free agent. Ben Simmons continues to propose as a fit for the Warriors. It's evident that the LA Clippers have no interest in bringing the Australian back into the fold, having ended the season with the franchise where he averaged 2.9 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 3.1 assists in 16.4 minutes per game. In fact, aside from the New York Knicks and Toronto Raptors during a brief period last week, there's been no real reports of any team having interest in Simmons. That might have something to do with the fact he reportedly wants more than the minimum, according to Law Murray of The Athletic, though that may be a little too optimistic given the lack of money floating around in free agency. In evaluating the best landing spots for the top 25 free agents remaining on Monday, Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report has listed the Warriors as a potential spot for Simmons, suggesting that the 28-year-old could slot in behind Draymond Green as a 6 feet 10 inches ball handler, playmaker, and high-level defender. Simmons has now been constantly linked as a possible target for Golden State this offseason, with Ben Stinar of Sports Illustrated proposing the move in early June, while Warriors insider of Monty Poole of NBC Sports Bay Area suggested the same a week before free agency begun. Having a similar version of Green could be somewhat valuable throughout the regular season, such has been the mileage on the 35-year-old's body over a decorated career. Golden State could always do with more size as well, so long as they were to surround Simmons with the requisite shooting given he himself has become essentially a complete non-scoring threat. The issue is that you could almost never get away with playing Green and Simmons together, meaning the latter would almost always see limited minutes when the former is healthy. This would only be more complicated if the Warriors retain Kuminga, potentially making them a less than desirable situation if Simmons really wants to rejuvenate his career. Warriors can deliver another gut punch to close rival with huge free agency signing. Things could get worse for Phoenix. Having already been dealt a blow this offseason in trading Kevin Durant for a rather underwhelming return, the Phoenix Suns are headed for another bitter gut punch that could be delivered by the Golden State Warriors. The Suns appear in the process of executing a buyout with veteran guard Bradley Beal, allowing the 3X All-Star to become an unrestricted free agent where the Warriors are set to have serious interest. The Warriors can serve a gut punch to the Suns by signing Bradley Beal. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher on Tuesday, Golden State are one of a slew of teams set to have interest in Beal once he officially becomes a free agent, with both teams in Los Angeles, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Minnesota Timberwolves also linked to the 32-year-old. The Beal experience in Phoenix has been a disaster, having acquired him 2 years ago in a trade with the Washington Wizards that subsequently landed Chris Paul with the Warriors shortly after. The Suns were swept in the first round of the playoffs last year, then failed to even make the play-in tournament this time around. Beal played just 106 of a possible 164 regular season games over the last 2 years, and there's now no takers for him as a trade candidate given he's got 2 years and over $110 million remaining on his contract, along with a very publicized no-trade clause. It's left the Suns with no alternative but to execute a buyout and stretch the remainder of Beal's contract over a 5-year period, but their scraps could well be another team's treasure heading into next season. Sure, the Beal tenure in Phoenix has been a nightmare, but the 6 feet 4 inches guard still averaged 17.0 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 3.7 assists last season while shooting 49.7% from the floor and 38.6% from three-point range. The year before he averaged 18.2 points on 51.3% shooting and 43% from beyond the arc, proving that he's still a very productive offensive player who could be a steal on a much lesser contract. Not only does it hurt the Suns to have to make this decision to part ways with Beal in rather drastic fashion, but having him go to a close divisional rival like the Warriors would make things even worse. It means they could see their former player 4 times during the regular season, knowing full well that Beal will surely be motivated to bring his best and make them regret this current decision. Golden State face no shortage of competition for Beal's services, yet adding him should be a priority in order to provide a perfect third scoring option to complement Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Things have been quiet on the free agency front for the Warriors as they look to resolve Jonathan Kuminga's future, but speculation is ramping up with the franchise likely to sign Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton on top of this reported interest in Beal. Gilbert Arenas floats Josh Giddey for Jonathan Kuminga Warrior swap. Gilbert Arenas believes that Josh Giddey would be a good fit alongside Stephen Curry for the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have had a relatively quiet offseason thus far, mostly opting to run back the same roster that exited in the second round this past season. One big decision the Warriors have yet to make is what to do about Jonathan Kuminga, who remains unsigned and is a polarizing player both for Golden State and around the league. Complicating Gilbert Arenas' idea is the fact that Josh Giddey is also currently a restricted free agent and is widely expected to return to the Chicago Bulls, who traded for him last summer, on a new, lucrative contract. However, in theory, the idea of Giddey on the Warriors could be enticing. Giddey is an outstanding playmaker at 6'8", able to see above the defense and make solid reads. As history has proven, Stephen Curry is more than comfortable playing off the ball at times, using the threat of his all-time great shooting and incredible stamina to keep defenses off balance while Giddey would theoretically orchestrate the offense. Giddey also showed signs of an improved outside jumper down the stretch of last season for the Bulls, but it remains to be seen whether that was evidence of a long-term change or just a blip on the radar. While a Giddey-Kuminga swap seems unlikely at best, this is the time of the offseason when fans' minds start to wander. Why the Warriors haven't made any player trades or free agency moves this summer. Warriors have been linked to Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, but are still waiting on Jonathan Kuminga. As Western Conference contenders move heaven and earth to sign superstars, and teams maneuver via trade and free agency to add talent, one franchise has remained stuck in place. The Warriors have yet to make a single free agent signing or trade for a veteran NBA player, their only move thus far being a pair of draft day swaps. In fact, the team's only shakeup was losing longtime center Kevin Looney to the Pelicans. Why have the Warriors been stuck in neutral? Well, first, Golden State has still been linked to players as they wait for the Jonathan Kuminga situation, more on that later, to be resolved. Former guard DeAnthony Melton has been floated as a possible target of general manager Mike Dunleavy, most recently by reporter Mark Stein, who called the Warriors a strong contender for Melton. The 27-year-old played 6 games with the Warriors last season before he was cut down with an ACL injury, and could be a cheap option for a team that has precious little cap space available. He would also fill the role of Gary Payton II, should the Warriors let him walk in free agency. Al Horford, the ageless wonder of a shooting big who is entering his 19th season in the league, is also an unrestricted free agent and has been reported by Stein to be the top target of the team in desperate need of depth at center. Horford shot 36.3% from three-point range with Boston last season and is still a heady defender at 39 years old. Midnight. Neither of those moves appears likely to be made until the Warriors figure out what will happen with Kuminga, the talented but inconsistent 22-year-old forward who is tantalized with his athleticism and scoring just as often as he has frustrated with his mental mistakes and skills beyond bucket-getting. Kuminga and the team failed to come to terms on a contract extension last summer, and his pending free agency loomed over the team last season. Now, as a restricted free agent, Kuminga could receive an offer from another team, and if the Warriors match the number, then he would return to Golden State. The Warriors could also let him walk, or more likely, orchestrate a sign-and trade with the interested team. Kuminga has interest from the Heat, rival Kings, and Wizards, The Athletic has reported, but no concrete movement has occurred yet. Kuminga is expected to meet with Dunleavy, coach Steve Kerr and the organization when the Warriors go to the Las Vegas Summer League later this week. A sign-and trade would allow the other team to offload contracts, and for Golden State to possibly add veteran contributors to a roster that is led by Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Those three make $139 million total this season, and Golden State, with or without Kuminga, will need to be creative to avoid the team-building penalties that come with spending more than the salary cap of $154 million and first apron of $195.9 million. The Warriors do have a mid-level exception they can use to sign a player, although how large the contract can be depends on whether Golden State enters the luxury tax or not. There is still plenty of time, and players available, for the Warriors to add talent to the team in search of a fifth title of the Curry era, but some of the larger names are being snapped up from the marketplace.